About 1,000 people will be in attendance when Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley have this rematch. The caveat being the stipulation that Hangman Adam Page put on this match, everybody is banned from ringside. That was the exact verbiage. And I'm going to come back to why I think that potentially could be important, or they may have just shot themselves in the foot, but the stipulation is everybody is banned from ringside. After months of the AEW roster coming together, working with one another to try and overcome the Death Riders, we finally got to a point where it was Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page in the Owen Cup tournament final to see who would go up against Jon Moxley to win the AEW World Championship. We got a fantastic match and Hangman Adam Page was the victor. Hangman Adam Page went on to All In to challenge Jon Moxley for the AEW World title, which, bear in mind, if you remember, had been locked away in a briefcase for 10 months. We had not seen it, right? We went to All In. We know we got a fantastic main event, a world-renowned Texas death match is what I'm going to call it, because I loved that match to pieces. These guys killed themselves. They made the AEW world title feel so beast, so mega, and Hangman Adam Page walked away as the AEW world champion. Adam Page broke down in tears at All In as he opened that briefcase to reveal the AEW World title, which still had Bryan Danielson's side plates in the AEW World Championship from the time that obviously Bryan Danielson was champion back in October 2024. Like, it was magical. It was magical. It felt like a story ender. It felt like a new beginning. And a matter of 3 weeks later, we are about to run it back. Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World title again. Now, firstly, there's a couple things that I'm not a fan of within this. I'm not a fan that both guys came back so quickly. Yes, it makes them look like super hard as nails and all of that kind of stuff. But after the brutality in that Texas death match, should those men have been able to compete days later, not even the following week, days later, in the Dynamite main event, in a trios match or whatever they did that week? Questionable. Very questionable. Now, Moxley, he has kind of weaseled his way and goaded Hangman Adam Page into a championship match. Hangman Adam Page, you know, he's had enough of the Death Riders running roughshod. And on the show this past week, we saw them doing the same thing to Mark Briscoe and stuff. Obviously, they did it to Colt Cabana as well on Collision. They took him out. So Hangman Adam Page has stepped forward and he's basically said, you're not going to do this again. I'm going to give you what you want, Jon Moxley. However, now that I'm champion, it's on my terms. So if you want one more match for me to prove to you I am a champion, I've got what it takes to lead this company, etc., then we can have that one more match. We will have it next week in Chicago. Obviously, they got a residency in Chicago right now. So about 1,000 people will be in attendance when Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley have this rematch. The caveat being the stipulation that Hangman Adam Page put on this match was that nobody is allowed at ringside. In fact, everybody is banned from ringside. That was the exact verbiage. And I'm going to come back to why I think that potentially could be important, or they may have just shot themselves in the foot, but the stipulation is everybody is banned from ringside. So next week we go again. We go again in a regular singles match. The only person that's going to be involved in this should be the referee, right? Now, I think it's one of them things where it's like, it's a bit soon to do this again. We haven't moved on from something that felt like such a story ender and a chapter of a book being closed. You know, maybe Darby should be back in the fray, and Darby should be, you know, going up against the Death Riders and Moxley. Even Danielson, he came and intervened in that main event at All In and has just disappeared again. And maybe he should be going up against the Death Riders, especially because he was one. He was ex-BCC, you know? So it's a bit of a weird one that we are still here. We haven't necessarily moved on. even though that was really like the end of an era in regards to Moxley and Hangman winning the title. But just to kind of focus a bit on this stipulation, right? Everybody's banned from ringside. So is Hangman just going to win then? I mean, Hangman can beat Moxley in a straight up, match. I don't doubt that. Certain circles of the internet are debating, will Moxley take another loss to Hangman? I don't think he's, that kind of guy, especially to the other top guys. I don't think it'll be an issue. But should AEW have left this open to be more so the Death Riders are banned from ringside? Because then if the Death Riders are banned from ringside, you could open the door for a couple other eventualities. One being MJF comes and gets involved. MJF, of course, has the casino gauntlet winner contract thing that he can cash in, or however they're gonna do it. Like, he could come to ringside and make it a triple threat. Like, that could have been a possibility if they didn't say everybody is banned from ringside. Chris Statlander, someone that we have seen not necessarily flirting with the idea of joining the Death Riders, but Wheeler Yuta has been in her ear about, these guys took me in, this could be a home for you too, We could have seen maybe a Chris Statlander join the Death Riders as, if the stipulation was Death Riders are all banned from ringside. Well, at this current moment in time, Chris Statlander isn't a Death Rider, so she could join, screw Hangman, and does he drop the title? It's a weird one. It's a very weird one because you expect Hangman to just retain. So, but anyway, Chris Statlander could have been someone that got involved, right? So yeah, it just makes you think we're just going to get a straight up match where Hangman and Jon Moxley have a regular singles match. Will probably be a lot of fun. Will probably be some good stuff. But obviously being, or shall I say not being a death match, it's going to be a hard thing to follow, because that death match was exceptional. But we just go into this as, everybody's banged from ringside. I'm sure there's got to be something up someone's sleeve. It just doesn't necessarily make sense, I mean, if they just follow through with everyone's banned and no one comes down and all of that kind of stuff, then fair enough. Rematch done, Moxley back at the queue, or he takes a hiatus or anything like that. But you just feel like, should the wording have been Death Riders are banned from ringside, to kind of open the door somewhat for someone else or something else to happen. Maybe it's all done by design and it really is just to have a singles match. No bells and whistles, Hangman gets a clean victory. I'm down with it. I don't mind. I think these guys can do excellent stuff. Like I said, I do think that, we probably should have moved on from these two post All In, but maybe this is it now. They are closing this chapter so that they can start getting ready for Forbidden Door stuff and lining up who Hangman Adam Page's Forbidden Door championship defense will be against and stuff like that, and maybe what Moxley's going to do at Forbidden Door as well. Yeah, they should probably start lining that all up because Forbidden Door is probably about 4 weeks away now. 4 weeks away. So, start telling those stories, which will be good. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what you guys think. Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. It's happening again. One more time, maybe. And I'm intrigued to see if this stipulation is going to be bent or is it going to come into play in any way. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video and subscribe if you're new here. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.